Hello and welcome to Messages from Energy here on the Astroflower. How you doing? What a week. What a week. I don't know about you, but how's your week been? My week has been download after download after download. Realizations from the past, according to things that I've done in the past, and also understandings that are coming forth about how things work. And it's not just how the sun works, how the earth works, how we work. It's also an understanding about timing and how things come back around, as it were. And these timings are, they're almost karmically linked by the feel of it. It's almost as if like there's there's a defragmentation going on within the understanding, which is helping us to see things a lot clearer in regards to who we are, why we are, and what we're doing. I seem to be getting a lot of that information coming through, and I've got to say, Three Eye Atlas really has delivered on its messages, and it's not, as far as I can tell, it's not an alien ship, and I've been saying that all the way through, but it does have memory within its particles that come from a completely different civilization. And that brings us a great insight to how our civilization, how us as beings, our sort of our pathways, our Akashic library, how it all sort of comes together and sticks together, and works as a very well defined and delicate machine in a way, almost like the most perfect Swiss clock, I guess. But yeah, it's been phenomenal for me personally. A great understanding on my past. So, in my past, part of my spirit, as it were, went off for a walk around the universe. And it was sort of because I was getting a little bit too close to the bone for the people who think they are running this place. Bit came a bit too close to them, so it was a bit like a protection sort of thing. And that spirit came back this week here, or that part of my spirit, because there is aspects of us that we have a multitudes of sides to one spirit, let alone the soul. The soul is a collection of spirits, but as the individual sort of spirit, we have different facets, and that facet came back this week here, and it could have something to do with the messages from energy from last week, which was phenomenal. Really was phenomenal, and I've integrated that spirit that came through the portal, and certainly its understanding within me, and that has helped me to understand a great deal about a lot of things that go way beyond our human existence, as it were. I'm wondering, has it been the same for you? I put out a video on this on the downloads to try and help people when they do get downloads. When you're getting a lot of information, it's often good if it's too much information. You can't unpack everything straight away. Just marking down sort of like key words and then coming back to those keywords in a meditation later on when you're feeling a little bit more sort of space, you've got a little bit calmer, you're not taking on so much information. So it has been a week about observation really more than anything else in regards to sort of energies and energies that are coming through the system, which is allowing us to, which is liberating a lot of understanding within us as individuals, and therefore us in the collective as well. So, absolutely phenomenal. There has been a lot of energy that's coming through from the sun as well with X flares. If you haven't seen anything on that, You can go and see that on Cymatic TV. Just did an energy update on that. I've been trying to do regular ones as they come out, as the energy's been coming through this week here. So yeah, you can go and have a look at that on Cymatic TV as well, and see what's actually physically happening to the prana or the chi energy as it goes from the sun through the earth and through your chakras and your aura system. Okay, so yes, I'm sat on this ley line here at the moment, and the energy is a lot more zippy. It's really coming through. It's got a heightened flow rate. Let's put it that way. It's got a heightened flow rate at the moment, and that may cause a bit of anxiety, a bit of stress. Don't forget to take time out for yourself. Do things that are just relaxing with no real goal apart from relaxing and so forth. Engaging with yourself and with nature around you. It will help you deal with the energies as they come through, so you don't get overloaded, as it were. Okay, let's just connect to the energy at the moment and let's see what's going on. Let's connect to that energy. There we go. You've got the neutral point energy there. A lot of blue. And it's deep blue with a bit of red mixed into it because there's that fire energy that's coming through the system. But that deep blue is like, it's like a constant conversation that's happening in the background. And when we connect to that energy, that's when we can absorb all of that information, all those insights that are coming in at the moment. And it's absolutely lovely energy. Let's just see what's going on. And it doesn't, there's no stopping with it. There's no flitting from one thing to another. It is a real constant flow. Let's just see what's going on with the chakra sequencing, shall we? Let's just connect to that energy again. There we go. We've got that 0 point energy. You can feel that 0 point within our connection to the energy, which is behind the sternum. Your connection to energy is not through your crown, it's not through your root, and it's not through your heart chakra. It's through your sternum, just behind there. And then once it goes into the vertical energy, then it goes into the horizontal energy. So it's just connecting now to the sternum. Here we go there. Okay, so we get the crown and the root. The root seems to be a little bit more important than the crown at the moment, although both are not, they're not in my face, as it were. They're not really sort of like, they're not dancing all over the place, but the root chakra does feel a lot more sort of solid, consistent, and I think this is where it's keeping us grounded within the information as it's coming through, and it helps us to clarify things, to put things into order in accordance to what we're living. Okay, so that's that vertical energy, our raison d'etre, of living life. It's almost like the karmic path. Where's it moving on to now? So it moves on to the solar plexus. There's the fire energy, really does come out a little bit more. See a little bit more of the red fiery energy that's coming through the system. It's really flowing quite quickly as well, as it comes through there. And what's happening with that solar plexus? That solar plexus is just sort of, it's like a constant sort of, it keeps that determination and that goal and desire to understand and explore further within our own life. So it's really putting it's a driving force. It's giving us the initial driving force. Where's it moving on to now? So it moves on to the third eye and the throat chakra, and they seem to be very much in balance at the moment. And I what I'm getting off the chakras as well is a case of being at ease with oneself. And when we're at ease, we can hear with greater facility the things that are being conveyed to us through the energy. So I think that generally across the board, I think it's going to be they're going to be very calm and very relaxed here. It's now going back to the solar plexus, which builds in that determination. So it's like it's almost drip feeding us the information. And as it gives us this information, it gives us is now into the heart energy. It is actually moving quite quickly between the chakras, I've got to say. And it moves back in, it moves into the heart energy, sorry. And that seems to be also, I remember we talked about it like several weeks before, about how the heart energy seems to be not empty, but sort of like it's pushing on the extremities of the heart energy. Therefore, it's connecting to the world around us. And this will help us to understand the information that comes through, be it according to your job, business, projects, or your personal life, your spiritual life as well. It will help you to see the world around you and connect the dots and create those coincidences which help you to develop or cultivate your manifestation side of life. And the heart chakra is really, it's asking us to play with the information as well, which is really nice. Try things out, explore, experiment with the information, see where it's leading us. It's now moving on to the sacrum, and that sacrum is really, really, it's a beautiful energy. In fact, it's the most vibrant out of the whole lot. And I think this is a case here where the sacrum is sort of saying, take the fundamentals which are needed for your understanding according to what you are living as individuals. So as we connect to that sort of like that sacrum, sort of like sort of fundamental desires, as it were. Also, it's a bit of the fight and flight sort of scenario. So it may be a situation that comes in and kind of go, yeah, I want to learn more about that. That's the fights aspect of it all. Or information comes through, kind of go, not really my bag. So then you can move directly on to the next one. It's a very good filtration system that's going on within the sacrum this week here. It's really absolutely beautiful. And then goes back to the crown and the root. And I think this is where the messages that are coming through, according to our determination, it depends on how much you want to explore in life and how much time you can give it, and etc. And once we can do that, and we've got this determination, it will allow the clarity of vision with the third eye and the throat chakra, which doesn't seem to be pushing, it just seems to be absorbing more than anything else. And then plays onto the heart chakra, which allows us to see that information relayed into the world that is around us as individuals within life that is around us. And then it's sort of, playing back to, then it plays back into the sacrum. In between time, we do have the solar plexus, which reboosts the force or the determination to get things done. And then the sacrum sort of really does kick in, where we can really see the things that stick, that we can use as the building blocks of our future as individuals, but also as the collective. Okay, let's just see what's going on with the Earth. Now, obviously, we are still going through that solar storm at the moment. We've had a G8, I think it is. We may have a G9 later on this afternoon as this video comes out. So let's just connect to that energy there. There we go. We've got that blue and the red that seems to be playing really importantly at the moment. We've got this ley line here. Let's just go along the ley line. So we're going back down towards the crossing point, which is down that way, down there. So just seeing that crossing point there, it looks quite tight, but that's fine. We're just jumping into it. It's like a sort of like a vortex that helps us get from one place to another energetically, and use in a way of an OBE or just exploring or remote viewing and so forth. So we're going down there. Yes, it does seem very tight. And it's getting twisted in itself. It's almost as if like the Earth is really pulling the energy into the central sphere of plasma. Let's just have a look at the void, as it were, that sort of energy that goes between one magnetic pole orientation and another, because that's going to be coming to the surface in the next sort of like 4 or 5 years. And, in a real, it's going to take its place on the surface. But as we go through, let's just have a check around, see if there's anything in particular. No, but there is definitely a wave that is building out of the plasma ball at the center. So let's go down to the plasma ball. And the plasma ball here seems to be, last week it was really weird. It was as if it was really tiny and I was massive. And this week here, it's slightly more fuzzy in its coloration and its form. It seems to be a little bit more sort of yellow reddish in a way, and I think this could be where it's really taking on board a lot of that sun energy that's been, that prana energy that's coming through from the sun at the moment. So it almost looks like a sun in a way within the earth, and that's probably what it is, because it is the plasma ball that's in the center of our earth was plasma that was originally on the sun, and then a shell was put around it and etc., which created a planet. So let's just go in there and let's just go on to that. Okay, it feels really, I want to say solid, but it almost feels really powerful. And that's what I want to say. It feels really, really powerful. Let's just step into that plasma ball, stepping into the center of the earth. Okay. I almost come out as, I got the administrators that are running or helping, the planet itself just to sort of flow through. They don't get involved in any sort of good and bad and stuff like that. It's nothing to do with that. They're literally just a functioning of a planet sort of administrators, and they're all sort of lovely to see you and everything like that. It's really nice, a very nice welcome. A little bit different to what usually I get as a welcome. Not that I get a bad welcome at all. It's really nice, but let me just interject with one at the moment. Okay, they're the same thing. They're just taking on board. What they're doing is they're stock. It's almost like they're stocking the energy so they can have a constant flow of vibration coming out from the earth over the next 2 to 3 months. In a way, that's what they seem to be doing here. The portal is really bright, incredibly white, that I can see coming out the top of the Akashic Library, and that gives us our sort of like our connection or our vertical energy between the north and the south poles. It is slightly orientated off north and south, and I think that's part of the pole shift as well that's sort of happening at the moment. So let's just that's what it seems to be doing. They seem to be accumulating the force of the solar wind, as it were, within the center of the earth. And they're also sort of saying to me the planet itself will start speeding up in its rotation again. And as it speeds up in the rotation, that will make us a little bit more sort of speedy, a little bit more sort of vibrant, as it were. Okay, but everything seems to be working to plan, as it were. You can see that clock on the wall. It's gone down slightly to what it was before. And that's on the move. That's where I think the pole shift, it's really talking about the pole shift in the next 4 to 5 years, around 2030, where we really start to see it on the surface of the earth. It seems to be that sort of way. It seems to be gearing up for that as well. Okay. Okay, let's go in to see the portal. Let's see if we can get anything from this. It's like the earth is being protected at the moment. It's as if like there's a lot of pressure from the universe and lots of maybe entities that have a particular interest within planet Earth, and it seems that way. But there seems to be like a royal guard that's standing there by the portal and is not allowing entities or spirits to come into our system that are not here originally. So we live in a reincarnation system that we gradually learn. It's a bit like a school. and it's not allowing other students to come in from elsewhere or other spirits to come in from elsewhere to mess around with our learning process. Or maybe it's a case of passing our exams. That's what we were going into at the moment. But it's certainly a great deal of protection. I'm just looking at the guards, as it were, and and it's like they signal their recognition like that. It's lovely to see, and etc. So let's just see what we get from the portal here. Let's just see what we get in the way of messages. Absorb, absorb and understand. So it's absorb, understand, but it's also saying radiate, as in radiate your understanding into the world around you. I think that comes last. As we absorb and we start to put it into context with life, then we can start radiating our individual messages. And you don't have to do it across, CNN or BBC and stuff like that. It just needs to be done locally. Interacting with the people that are around you is a really good sort of thing to do when you're sort of, and today, I've had that this week of just getting into really deep conversations with people that I've only just met, in very, very quickly, which builds a lot of greater understanding. So it's just saying that at the moment, absorb, understand, and radiate. Basically, it's those sort of 3 steps that's going through. It's very similar to the chakra sequencing as well, got to be said. Okay, so absolutely fantastic. Let me just see on the Akashic Library. They seem to be filtering as new lives come in. They can filter out old ones, and it's just getting like the creme de la creme of spirits, which will help anything through the transition in the next 4 to 5 years, through that pole shift, really, more than anything else, that's coming down the road to us. Okay, it's do not worry, be happy. I'm waking, I want to break into that Bobby McFerry sort of song. It just seems to be that way. It says, don't worry about it, we've got it covered. That's what they're sort of saying. And there seems to be a lot of protection and a lot of help and a lot of, oneness with everything that is going on around us, or certainly within the centre of the earth at the moment. So that's absolutely fantastic. Let's just... activate. I think that's what it's talking about, resonating as I'm coming out. Time is coming for activation, as it were. And it seems to be, that's what they're conveying to me, sort of saying, start activating your understanding. Okay, so let's just step out of that portal there. Okay, so we just step out of that sort of inner sphere, just lean on that inner sphere. Mother Nature is just sort of like concentrating on keeping the ship stable. And it's really she's taking on boards and sort of like kind of going, what she wants to convey is like, it's a team effort. And I often say to people, it's when you are okay, everybody else can be okay, rather than when everybody else is okay, I'm okay. It doesn't work like that. It works in a way that when I'm okay, everybody else has the opportunity to be okay. And you can't be responsible for everybody. And I think this is what Mother Nature's sort of saying here. It's teamwork. It's working together. But in order to work together, if you imagine you're a player in a team and you've got an injury and you're carrying that injury, you're not going to be your best in the games. And if you're not the best in the games, you might find that, the team is not the best. So this is why looking after oneself is really important as well. Okay, so that's what she seems to be sort of saying there. Become a team player, So let's just keep an eye out for that portal. Here it comes here. There's a definite kink as we go halfway through it. There's a real compression of the energies at the moment in the void between the crust and the inner sphere. There we go. Just step into that. Gradually, pop straight out of that crossing point, back down the crossing point, and back into the body. Yeah, it is a week of absorbing everything. And you may not understand everything as you are absorbing it this week. But as you take on board the information, it will explain it through maybe through your past or through your present or even through your future, how it's connected to everything and how everything works around you. And the more you can get into that, the more you can sort of apply it within the world that is around you, the understanding, the better the conscious or the shift as we've been going through will be. And it will be better, it'll be a lot easier for us to deal with the pole shift as it comes through in the next 4 or 5 years. Because then when the energy really does invert, your crown chakra becomes your root becomes your crown, heart becomes the solar plexus becomes the heart, sacrum becomes the third eye and throat, and the third eye and throat becomes the sacrum. And it will all still work very well because it will eventually find its way back to being normal for us, as it were. So it's understanding that will help us through that transition enormously. So there you go. Thanking you very much for being here. I hope you get the best out of these readings. If you appreciate these readings, please do subscribe, like, share, comment. It's always lovely to see your comment. It's always good to. I'd like to see how it's been going for you this week in the way of sort of downloads, information, also emotions, because I think it has been. Some of these revelations have been very quite emotional at the same time. So it'd be very interesting to hear from you about it. Don't forget about the energy update over on Cymatic TV. And then we've obviously got our weekly readings here on the Astroflower, Thursday and Friday, Earth and Fire. Then on Friday, Water and Air. I will see you soon. Thanking you very much. In the meantime, that's all left for me to say is don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.